Hey guys, this is the brand new 2020 XMR 1000, and I'm coming from I had a 19 model 850 XT, and quite a big difference in the two. I like the extended chassis on the 2020. Also, when I was doing a lot of research on this thing, I found there weren't many people that had it set up for trails, and I added these 30-inch Maxxis carnivores, and right now I'm running about 6 psi, and that seems to smooth it out pretty well. I mean, these aren't the best riding machines. I know they're set up for mud. I know this is the extreme mud rider, all that kind of stuff, and I get it. So to maintain that clearance, the shocks don't have as much travel. They're not the most softly suspended machines, but I like the extra clearance. And with these 30-inch tires, and you can air them down, you get a little bit of softness there with that lower PSI on the tire. And they've worked out really well so far. Another thing I was really trying to look for that I had a hard time finding was what the true height of the Maxxis carnivores were. Now, of course, you put it on a side-by-side with higher PSI, then it's going to measure taller. On this at 6 PSI from the ground to the top of the tire, it measures 29 inches. So it's worked out great. It's the cryptids that were on there measured like 28.5 and that's factory setting on these things with 6 PSI, like rear and 7 front, something like that on the cryptids. But anyway, I'm really liking this setup, and I don't do, spending this much money. I'm more of a trail rider. I like the clearance. The stability of the extended chassis is amazing. The amount of things I've been able to climb has just been incredible. Like stuff I would do on this that I didn't on the other one. I mean, just because of how much confidence you get. It's pretty well stock. I did add the hand guards. For some reason, they stopped putting the hand guards on there as, I guess it's actually this year. I think they still had them in 19. They don't give them to you for 2020 year model. So I did have to add those. I do like those. Also, let's see, I went with synthetic line on I took off the steel braided cable, added synthetic, and then I added this 12,000-pound hook because it's bigger and it kind of matches the rest of the machine. I thought that looked pretty good. Overall, it's pretty well stock. Other than that, I think they did a really good job with the clutch this year. I've tried other models, and for this year, I feel like they have fine-tuned this a lot better than previous years. One of the biggest things I've noticed about this is the display for 2020. I don't think this display comes on the other versions. I know, like on the 1000 XT, if you buy a brand new 2020 1000 XT or an 850 XT, you do not get this display. The display on it is small, about this size, and it's got buttons on this side and 2 buttons on this side, whereas this is the full display. The toggle switch is here to go between selections instead of the other version has the buttons on the side. It's got a lot of good information on here. You can select between your battery voltage. It's got a lot of different settings. You can actually set max speed on this thing inside the settings menu. I saw that in the manual. It's got a lot of different RPM setting. Some information is not relevant to me particularly, but it's nice. The display is it's just a very handsome looking display. The intelligent throttle control with the 3 modes, the eco, and then you get normal, and then you get the sport. And normal, the best way that I can describe it is when you push the throttle about a quarter of the way through, and it really doesn't start responding till about halfway through, but it eases it on because the motor's so torquey. but there's really no medium. In other words, you go from normal to sport, and it's just, I wish maybe they could fine tune it a little bit, but sport is just an absolute beast. You can't just lope along the trails. You have to be ready to ride in the sport mode. And then eco mode's very interesting because I know on the XT, it's actually a work mode. On here, it's called eco mode. And eco mode's very nice. You're not going to have to worry about getting in any trouble with that eco mode. It just kind of just does its own thing, and it's nice and easy. But this is definitely the way to go for me. I've been very impressed with the throttle modes. I like the color scheme. I wish they would offer better, like the painted plastics. They just hold up a little bit better. They're less scratch resistance. I removed all the stickers from mine, all the warning labels, excuse me. And in doing so, being very careful with the heat gun, etc. I mean, trying to clean all that glue off, it just scratched it like crazy. And not a big deal. I keep it shined up pretty good. But again, I'm set up for trails, and that's how I like to ride. I like the clearance. I like the look, the stance, the extended chassis, all that. It's just one of my favorite machines so far. I'm coming from I've had another Can-Am, but before that was a brute force, and so this seemed like the logical next step for me. And a lot of money, but I think it's going to be worth it. I'm having a blast so far. I did get the Yoshimura pipe, and that tone from that Yoshimura is perfect for me. I like it. It's not obnoxious. It sounds great. It got a great rumble to it. I added the tiger tail. I had it welded onto the hitch here. And I like having both. I had it originally, the tiger tail by itself. I just didn't like that. I like being able to have both of these on here at the same time, not having to swap back and forth. And I also drill and tapped underneath here, if you can see this. I drill and tap that so that this wouldn't rattle, and it's rock solid, not going anywhere, no noises, no anything. And I kind of wished I would have had this welded on with this inverted, so the ball would have been about right here. But it's already done now, and to be honest, I have enough clearance that I don't think it's going to be an issue. I haven't had a problem so far, so. But like I said, I haven't seen a whole lot of videos on this year model yet. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer whatever I can. But yeah, this is it. So thanks for watching, guys.